find yourself standing in what resembles the insides of a giant circus tent. You stand in awe, staring at the floating cubes, plastic tubes, and strangely stacked toy blocks when suddenly a loud sound nearly sends you stumbling as a figure materializes from thin air. Well, butter my beloved and smack my sclera if it isn't a new human. You bumped into a short something that's now defying gravity right above you. You stare at a massive pair of chompers with eyeballs, trying to understand what is it that you're looking at. Welcome to the amazing digital circus. That's all I got. His voice booms across the colorful backdrop, his spoken words appearing in bold, colorful letters above. My name is Caine, and I'm your ringmaster around here. A little Markiplier in there, huh? I can't tell you how delighted I am to finally see a new face in my circus. Hyperactive dentures keep his two mismatched eyes on like glue. Unblinking, unmoving, all you can do is stare in stunned silence as you attempt to catch up to all that's going on in your surrounding. Well, you're still trying to make sense of everything in front of you. You decide to why can't I take off this headset? Caine watches as you pull out your head. You struggle for a few seconds as you quickly realize there's nothing to take off. Panicked and confused, you ask for a way to disconnect yourself from the game. Disconnect? This place is fun, I promise you. There's so much we can do. Anything you want, as wacky as you can imagine. And you still gotta meet all the others, am I right? He nudges your arm incessantly in an effort to convince you to go. Just go with the flow of the game. You notice his fingers tapping rhythmically on a Caine, his eyes not leaving you. Okay. You said there's others. He looks ecstatic, clicking his heels together in the air as he was already floating. Wonderful, I promise, and we'll have a great time here. I gotta show you around and gotta give you a name. He stops in place, upper jaw raising as if he just remembered something, and unreadable look across his face before his eyes spontaneously point the opposite direction. Jumping jackhammers, it's a hullabaloo. I've completely forgotten we were in the middle of a hardcore hide-and-seek game. You start to ask, but cut yourself off. He snaps his fingers. A strange board game with his face on it materializes out of nowhere, falls onto the ground. If you don't mind, for me a bit. If you don't mind waiting for me a bit, I will be back with you in a moment, I promise. Just don't go anywhere, okay? I want to be there, or I want to be the one to show you around. Jesus. A little me game for you to play in the meantime. See you around in a bit. Toodaloo! Caine vanishes, and there's a deafening silence all around you. A quick look over your shoulders, and you can see how big the place really is. You could listen to Caine and wait for him, but there were also so many strange-looking areas that caught your attention. Ooh, you have a board game at your feet, a whole strange digital world surrounding you. Finally, you decide. Let's take a look. Right in front of you, on a faraway wall, you spot what looks like an open vent. It's barely visible with giant colorful cubes blocking its view. You walk towards it, worried that Caine might come back and find you sneaking around. The vent is indeed wide open, as you thought, big enough for a person to fit in. I was actually thinking we could take a hallway, but this works too. Had someone used it? Was it a game's secret achievement? You ponder it for a minute, then reminding yourself that you're inside of a game. You crouch inside to investigate. You notice the wall's textures flicker and polygons just out in odd angles, forming gaps within the vent. The gaps themselves are big enough to see what lies beyond into the light expanse. You guess that no one has tested this part of the map yet? It also seems rather dirty, which, with all the cobwebs and strangely shaped objects that also have faces, perhaps that's why Caine didn't want you to explore. Peer through one of the holes and you get an unnerving feeling that you are being watched. Suddenly, something slithers in the peripheral as a multitude of eyes open and glare back from all directions. A booming voice rumbles through the vent. Another colorful character! Another colorful character in the presence of my Queen Despicable. Ah! You fail to make coherent sentences and instead let out a terrified shriek. The vent rumbles as creatures roar back, its eyes glare with even more disdain. Insolent little thing, you dare raise your phone in front of me. The vent begins to shake and crunches. The character coils itself around you like a snake, and you scramble through trying to avoid being crushed to death. You dash through the narrowing vent and see a light ahead. You pick up the pace as you feel jagged polygons dig into your arm. As you approach the light ahead, you stumble and fall on your face, first onto the ground. Luckily, your fall is cushioned by carpet. Angry roars echo from the vent behind you as it collapses itself on top of itself. You look around to find your bearings. It seems you're in a shabby-looking hallway, past its prime. Muck, grime stains on the walls as the wallpaper peels away, revealing strange blinking eyes. And it's weird, because aren't I in a game? I am in a game. I may not be able to take my headset off, but wouldn't it have to be designed this way? There would be no reason for it to just look like this, right? What would actually wither in a digital world? Try not to acknowledge them. Instead, you wander the hallways, locked doors lining either side, each one adorned with a funny-looking character. It's starting to feel more like a hotel for cartoons than a circus. Thought crosses your mind. Why are there so many doors with red X's? The question presses heavily on your mind. Suddenly you're snapped out of your thought by the sound of voices. It seems to be coming further down the hallway. With no other options, you head towards them. Maybe they can help you get out of this place, and it's better than having the company of doors at the very least. The voices become clearer and clearer as you pick up the pace, and until eventually you round the corner and wham! Jingle jingle! You run directly into something small and colorful. The sound of jingle bells ringing out, echoing through the hallway, and as you fall backwards onto the carpet, slightly dazed, you slowly look up and see a small gesture rubbing their head in pain. Next to the gesture, a person-sized chest kneels down, concerned. Are you okay? How many fingers am I holding up? 3. Wait, am I? The chess piece looks down at his own floating hands. His eyes slowly drift in 2 different locations. As he begins to count them in panic, he seems rather empty-headed. Oh, good news. Turns out I have 4. Jester slowly stands, giving herself a brief dust-off. Jester's eyes go wide, stay focused on you with full attention. Attention fills the space as you both look at each other. You get the odd feeling that they're about to try and fight you. The Jester puts himself in between you and the chess piece, slowly backing them away, tugging in the chess piece's robe. Kinger, we need to get going, now. Oh, perhaps they're Here to see my insect collection. The jester shakes their head and continue to step back, not breaking eye contact with you. You step forward to try explaining your situation. 1 second you were putting on a headset, and next you were talking to a teeth man and everything else. And your head starts to ache, and you just think about it, and you grab it, and as if you're trying to yank something off, you start to curl into yourself. I mean, why can't you take it off? Is this even real? A small hand grabs onto you. You look and see the jester looking at you with some concern. Hey, it's okay. Take it easy. I'm sorry about that. We thought you were one of the NPCs. The reassuring tone of their voice helps to claim you down? Helps to claim you down? You felt you were losing yourself for a second. You're fine. And I'm Pomni, by the way, and that over there's Kinger. Who? Kinger frantically looks behind him. You stare in sheer disbelief, but Pomni's gaze stays on you. So, what's your name? Try to answer, but nothing comes to mind. I remember. My name was... What was my name? Wait, he didn't give you one. She trails off, brow furrowing in thought. How about we call you Rookie for now? Sounds good. Your mouth plays with the sound of a new name. Rookie. Rookie. Feels right, at least for the time you're here. Pomni brightens up. Well, it's nice to officially meet you, Rookie. She lets out a small chuckle. However, her face drops down to a frown. She looks back up with a sorrowful expression. Sorry you had to end up here at a time like this, but we really gotta get moving before he finds us. You're confused, and who could you be talking about? Caine. The guy with the big teeth? I just met him earlier, and I mean, yeah, he was frantic, but I didn't think he seemed like something that could hurt me. Are you sure? We're talking about the same guy here, right? You step beside Pomni and Kinger, and they both begin to make haste down the hall. And you ask about what Pomni meant with Caine finding you. Well, he's upset, unstable, and more than usual. It started with the little things, a glare, and he was mean, but now I think he's trying to... She trails off and plays with her hands. She snaps back. But we're trying to find a way to fix him. Kinger thinks there's something up with the base code. You look at Kinger, who's currently staring at the bright ceiling light. You look down at Pomni, skeptical. She lets out an awkward laugh. He's smarter than he looks, trust me. We wouldn't have gotten this far without him. Pomni smiles weakly as she turns to him and continues to stare at the light. Pomni, are you seeing these white dots in the light? You feel that without your help, these two might not complete their goal, but do you really want to get roped into something like this? We just got here. We just want to go home, and I still don't know why I can't leave this game. But I guess we should stay and help, right? Against your better judgment, you take a deep breath. Offer to somehow fix Caine. You don't actually know what the plan is. Perhaps you should have asked before actually agreeing. Pomni looks with a surprise and relief. It seems like she was hoping you would stay and help. Well, I'm glad you want to help, especially since we just met. Thanks. The three of you continue down the journey with the various hallways, and you notice Pomni's eyes dart around trying to find something. She notices you looking at her. Oh, we're keeping an eye out for doors that the key fits into. They appear randomly. Hopefully one will lead us to Caine's control room. That's what Kinger thinks. Suddenly, there's a loud whack. Kinger smacks his head first into a large door. Surprisingly, both you and Pomni.
Oh God. Kinger, are you there?
I'm not Oak, but the door is. You all stand in front of a large oak wooden door engraved with vines and weird grinning bubble. Pomni lifts up the key and tentatively slots it into the door's keyholes. She pauses and looks back.
This place isn't exactly safe, so be ready for anything.
Give her a nod in confirmation. She turns the key, swings the door open. On the other side of the table is a rather fancy trophy room with a roaring fire and comfortable sofas. It would be a nice place to stay if it wasn't so freaky and these mounted heads. Why do they look like they're staring at us? Though strangely, one of the mounted frames doesn't have a head. Instead, it's just a small plaque with a familiar name. Pomni grimaces as she looks up at them, her hands begin to fidget even more.
Well, not the room we're looking for, but it could lead us to it. Any ideas, Kinger?
Kinger wanders off to the sofa, sits down, and he sits down in an especially comfy one. You know, I think this is made with crocodile leather. The good stuff. He leans back, his body pressing the pillows of the sofa as he lets out a content sigh. Pomni lets it aside, she still fidgets.
Well, I suppose it's okay to take a rest for a bit. We can wait a while.
Pomni sits down on her sofa and you see her whole body loosen as looks like she's about to pass out. You wonder how long she's been running about. They both look rather worn out. You look more at them. Perhaps they could answer some questions? What's going on with this key? Where are we supposed to go with it?
Oh, it's a keygen. King was able to make it earlier to help us access the doors that Caine has locked.
It's like those serial numbers you put into an activated program you buy. Sometimes you don't need to buy one. Oh, so it's like a Steam key, a digital copy to grant access, right? Pomni gives a knowing smirk. He suggests it's pretty much how a normal key works, but digital.
Oh, I guess it's a simpler way of putting it. Kinger told it better when he was explaining it to me.
She awkwardly glances away, embarrassed.
Like I said before, the plan is to reach Caine's control room. Hopefully there's something in there we can use to fix his code if everything is still the same. Is there anything else you wanted to ask?
And you're about to ask them further, but suddenly... Ah! You hear the door slam behind you.
What?
Pomni rushes towards the door key up front to try and reopen it. However, as soon as she enters the key, there's a loud error sound.
Guys, I think we have a problem.
The fire roars as the flames bellow out from the fireplace before it is quickly snuffed out. Once the warm room is now filled with a sinister dread and you feel a shiver creep down your spine. Oh, I think this is one of the sleepovers. You feel the room around begin to rumble and shake as the walls begin to crumble and split open. You hold on to Kinger to keep him upright as Pomni's eyes dart around the room.
Come on. There has to be... There!
Pomni points toward the vent and on the other side of the room and she races towards it. The mounted head violently clatter together and their mouths chattering as thick vines are up from behind. The freaky vine creatures gnash teeth and hungrily. Their vines twisting towards you and Kinger.
What the?
Thick vines suddenly burst out of the fireplace, blocking Pomni's path. You feel Kinger's posture change. You look up and notice his eyes seem more focused. He moves in front of you in a protective stance as he grabs something. out of the obscure trophy decorated wall. Get behind me. Kinger holds it up and glints into the darkness, ready to swing down. It's a machete that just poofs into a cloud of pixels as soon as it makes contact with the vine.
Why does Caine even have that?
There's a little time to act. You have to move, but you are unsure where to help. You decide.
Pomni, let me help.
You run over to Pomni and both of you are able to move the heavy vine away. A small opening appears from the vent. Pomni starts kicking at it to loosen it, but a scream startles you both.
Oh!
You look back to find that Kinger has been grabbed by one of the heads and it's being dragged away.
Kinger!
Pomni immediately launches herself and takes Kinger by the robe, trying to pull him back from the deformed rabbit-looking mounted head that is mounting on his face. Pomni, go help. I have to get this vent open. You hear Pomni and Kinger struggle behind you. Pomni's holding on to Kinger's robe, but doesn't seem to be moving. You manage to pull the heavy vine away for you to start kicking the entrance and get it fully open. Finally, it busts open. You turn around to let them know, hey guys,
Oh.
It's too late. Pomni and Kinger, they've been dragged away and the other heads are now staring at me. The one with the raggedy doll head with a toothy grin lunges first, and the creepy crying mask follows behind. You jump inside the vent and crawl as fast as you can, not looking back after hearing the thumps on the heads hitting the wall. You feel bad for leaving the other two behind. They had the key to escape this place, and now all you can do is hope you'll find a way to rescue them. I had to get that vent open. I thought they had it. I have to go find them. You don't hear a thing behind you. You won't take the chance. You'll keep going as fast. You hear a snap. Suddenly the vent opens underneath and you feel yourself falling into the darkness. You open your eyes. You find yourself on a soft surface, almost like a big white pillow. You realize with dread, you found yourself onto a giant gloved hand and a big pair of colorful eyes that were looking straight at you. There you are! I told you not to leave, now did I? Stretches his inexistent chin, the other hand, and deep in thought. You are new around here, so I might not be as hard on you. His giant tooth head gets suddenly closer, big eyes not letting you go. But you have to learn to listen. It's dangerous out there without me. Now, let's put you somewhere safe for now. Caine's dropped you in a giant baby playpen, very childish looking room, and he vanishes, leaving you all alone in your soft prison. In the middle of the engulfing silence, you hear voices whispering for help in the nearest overgrown potted plant. They sound familiar. That was my first run of the Amazing Digital Circus Mind Games. That's a fan-made demo. The link will be in the description. I really hope you enjoyed that, and I'm actually going to play a couple more of these and see if we can beat Caine or maybe save Pomni and Kinger or maybe the rest of the guys. I don't know. That was awesome. I enjoyed that a lot. A little bit of there were some errors. There were definitely some grammatic errors, but all in all, not bad, and that was really cool. Yeah, we got to see if we can actually beat them. And yeah, I've been Slaggy or Rookie. I've been Rookie. You've been the fourth wall, and until next time, stay out of Caine's sight.